biggest thing I see people run into is if they're in the entrepreneurial space, how do I price something? How do I learn to ask for a sale? How do I face that rejection? Because I know entrepreneurs all have this good, strong front, but in reality, they don't like being told no. They like winning all the time. So when they
Totally.
get told no, it's hard. They have to learn how to build up that tenacity. And then if it's in the B2B space, which I train in that a lot, it's more of setting up a system and a solution that you can get repeatable income from because a lot of salespeople there are up and down.
Hey, this is a quick shout out from one of our awesome sponsors. Check this out. Thank you to Tracy down at Tranquil Turn Massage in downtown Coeur d'Alene. Look, my wife and I, we see Tracy and her team every single month for a couples massage, and it is the best thing. Tracy is a master massage specialist and a Honu Ashiatsu trainer. You need to reach out to Tracy and her team. Make sure that you tell them that I sent you, and you'll get $25 off your next massage. Also, while you're there, check out CDA Brows, Body, and Ink. Make sure to tell Tracy that I sent you, and you'll save $100 on your next tattoo, brows, and plasma tightening services. Joe, you're a husband, father, award-winning sales coach, speaker, podcast host, and so much more, man. It's so good to have you back on the show, man. Thank you for your time, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I love that you've had me back on. I love seeing your journey and growth and all the cool things you've been doing as well. It's been fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've known each other online for many years, and I'm so honored to be in your circle, man. But it's just funny. We have never met in person, but I consider you one of my awesome close friends, man. It truly is an honor to be in your circle there, bro. Uh, Tell me though, like about that moment in your faith journey when you decided to give your life to Christ, like and go all in. Was there something that happened that influenced you to step into that? Or like, tell me about that moment, man, when you stepped into your relationship with Jesus.
Um, and it's been a journey, and I'm gonna be honest and say it's changed over time. In the
Sure.
beginning, when I was super young, I was raised in church, so I did the oh, I'm getting saved, doing that thing to begin with, because you're just in church. You're an 8-year-old kid. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Then at 13, I really didn't know what I was doing, but I'm like, oh, I need to get baptized again. Then about 17 or 18, I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is something that really makes sense to me.
Mm.
Um, and I accepted Christ at that point. And I'd love to tell you that the journey has been great throughout this whole time, but there's been ups and downs. And you know my story. There's been times where I've just wanted to cuss God out and tell him I'm not happy with you at the moment. Then there's times that I'm like falling down, wondering why he would love someone like me.
Yeah.
I am open and raw with my faith, which is a little bit different than a lot of people like maybe they have that moment and it's just perfect la di da di da di. For me, it's not been that way. It's been
Sure.
ups and downs and wrestling
Yeah.
with my faith. And actually, about 3 years ago, I challenged it.
Yeah.
We went through a bunch of stuff, and I was like, is this something I really believe, or is this something that I was ingrained in me? And I do
Mhm.
believe it. So don't hear what I'm not saying, but it was just like, if you don't challenge your beliefs, are they really your beliefs?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still challenging them because I want to know. I know that's a kind of like a long it might not have been the answer you were expecting,
No.
but I really want it to be genuine for me, and my thought process with Christianity has changed. The
Yeah.
brand of Christianity I do now has changed. Like, it's been a journey of walking with God each and every day and falling in love with him again and understand that even when things don't go the way you want them to, when you lose family, when you lose friends, when you do all the right things and it still doesn't work out, he's in control. And sometimes
Yeah.
that sucks still. Like, you don't like it,
Right.
but it's still what is needed at the time. So I guess
Yeah.
that's a long answer of when was that defining moment? I think the defining moment's each and every day when you wake up and you choose, am I going to follow Christ or am I going to follow myself?
Yeah, come on, man. It's so it's I think that's being real. And it's like, man, and not only I mean, not always am I gonna feel super connected to God, right? There's days where I'm gonna feel like, man, what the heck is happening right now, right? And I think that's just real. If people say that they're just fully in connected, and I think the real pastors out there will say, like, there's days where I just don't feel like I'm connecting with God, man. And I think that's real. And so I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, with all the hats that you wear from husband, father, coach, speaker, and host, and more, like, how do you incorporate your relationship with Jesus into your daily routine?
Um, like I do with my family, like I do with my wife, I make time for it.
Yeah.
When I go on walks and I have time to myself, it might even just be a thought. It might be I play a worship music when I'm going along. It might even be not worship music, but a music that makes me think about God or life. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes someone can give you something, or there's a show or just certain things that will hit you. Like, I can't watch Narnia without crying. I know that
Mhm.
sounds hilariously funny, but the battle scene at the end when Aslan shows up, it gets me every time. I've seen that movie 40 to 50 times, but that's just an analogy. And I know that Aslan's analogy of Christ and C.S. Lewis was
Sure.
writing a children's story, which makes sense. But just that when all was lost, he showed up just at the right time to save them. And it's kind of like the same thing with us. When all is lost, he showed up just at the right time to save us where we were at.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. How would you say that your faith in Jesus shapes the way that you approach your business, and the coaching and speaking and your podcast side of things?
I think it would be simple. I want to treat people how they should be treated. I want to love them unconditionally because it's not my job to change them. So when I come into a talking with someone or listening to them like on the podcast, I have a lot of different views. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to respect their views and all, but still share my views and be confident in who I am.
Mhm.
Um, Being Christ-like means that you love people first, love God and love people. It's that simple. I know we
Yeah.
make it hard and complicated, and there's certain hoops we have to jump through,
Yeah.
but if your principles are in it, if that's who you are, you don't have to do anything specific for it to happen. If I have to willfully think about it, now I'm getting either into works or I'm getting into trying to be something that maybe I'm not. Whereas if I'm just being who I am, just like you do when we talk, every
Yeah.
time we talk, you're just genuinely you. I don't get the fake facade. I read people for a living. Being in sales and doing business and all for so long, I'm really good at reading people and I know who's genuine and who's not. And I
Yeah.
think being genuine is the key.
Mhm. Man, that's so good, dude. Yeah, absolutely, man. Being real, being genuine, authentic, man. Let's get into your podcast, The Joseph Graham Show. You've released close to 200 episodes, man. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. I mean, I think the last statistic that I read was like 90% of podcasts ever make it to episode 7, man. So like I love that you're continuing to be on this journey. It's been so fun to watch your podcast continue to grow, continue to bring on world changers there. But for those who don't know, like, what's your show about? Who's your show for?
Well, it's changed because, as you know, when you first met me, it's called the 150K podcast. I was trying to help people get to step one.
Yep.
Now it's just about waking up to a life you love living. I'm bringing on
Mhm.
experts from all over the world, from different aspects, from health, spiritual, body, mind. Like I just dropped an episode with Kasim Aslam today, and the dude was a brilliant marketer. We didn't talk about marketing at all. Like literally, we talked about
Nice.
human concept, the mind, how people think. I love getting into the mind of people and asking them questions that most people don't ask. That's
Yeah.
like my goal on a podcast when someone comes on, because
Yeah.
it pulls out a different nugget that they just never thought about. Because if you and I have been on podcasts and everyone talking about sales and talking about sales, and then I'll just throw something out because I'm like, I can talk about sales all day long, but there's more to me than just sales. Just like you, there's more to you than just podcasting or what you bring to the table.
Right.
So the show's about that, and then just lately, it's been about leveling up and challenging your beliefs. Is this
Mm.
something that you really believe? Why do I believe that? What is it about? And like I said, I'm on this journey right now, and I think it's just a kick I have right now of just figuring out what is it exactly I want, what is it exactly I believe, and what is it exactly other people believe? Why do you think that way? Not in a judgmental type of way, but like, why do you think the earth is flat? I haven't had a flat earth run, but like I've just used something randomly weird,
Sure. Yeah.
Why would you think that? I want to know because there's got to be some logical aspect of it. So it's kind of changed and developed from there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, lots of different people. I just didn't want it to be a business sales podcast anymore. And it's my
Totally.
show, so I just changed it.
Dude, I love it because that's the awesome thing about podcasting. You can do whatever the heck you want. There's no rules or laws around it, man. We just talk about what we want, man. What's on our heart, dude. I've always been a fan of podcasting. I mean, it's I've been doing it since 2017, and it's helped me along my journey in regards to business and the way that I approach life. But for you, how has podcasting helped you in your business as a coach and as a speaker?
Um, it gets me clients, it gets me the open door. It
Yeah.
helped me more as a therapy. Like, cause you
Mm,
know my story a little bit. Like my
yeah.
wife and I had a miscarriage about 3 years ago.
Hmm.
And that was right when I was starting my business. That's right when I was starting to do a lot of stuff. And it was an ability for me to go and almost heal because I could talk to other people about their stories, their lives, what they're doing.
Yeah.
On a business note, I've gotten really cool clients from it. I've gotten speaking gigs from it. I just did a AI Semporium that I met a guy who I did a was on his podcast and I spoke in his group, and this was put on by the LA Times. So it's a pretty big deal. Like it's a
Come on.
nice event.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I just use it to get the message out. But I go into everything without, this is gonna sound cliche, so I really do. I go into anything without an agenda. I just want
Mhm.
to find out about the person. I want to find out about what they think, how they act, and how they respond. And if there's business we can do together, great. If not, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I always go to try to give first. That was you asked that question before, and I thought about that. I'm always seeking to put other people, let their light shine, for lack of a better term, or let their gifts shine, or let them, reach more people and impact more people. And I think that's Christ-like too.
Yeah. Man, it's so good, dude. As a sales coach, like you've helped a ton of people increase their revenue and get better at sales. Like, what's the common issue that you hear when people approach you and like as a client, like, man, I'm struggling with this. And then kind of what's step one for them to kind of get out of that?
Well, they're always struggling with sales. They need money. Revenue is what they think they're struggling with. Normally,
Right.
it's mindset that they're struggling with. So they're in their head about their product or service. The biggest thing I see people run into is if they're in the entrepreneurial space, how do I price something? How do I learn to ask for a sale? How do I face that rejection? Because I know entrepreneurs all have this good, strong front, but in reality, they don't like being told no. They like winning all the time. So when they
Totally.
get told no, it's hard. They have to learn how to build of that tenacity. And then if it's in the B2B space, which I train in that a lot, it's more of setting up a system and a solution that you can get repeatable income from, because a lot of salespeople there are up and down. And if
Yeah.
you do the basics, I set it up. So there's two different groups that I deal with.
Gotcha. Man, it's so good, dude. I mean, I've been in sales most of my career as well, and sometimes it's eating like a king, and sometimes it's eating top ramen month. Like, how do you keep your faith strong during those stressful and uncertain times?
Um, at this point, I've put enough money back and done stuff to know the averages, so I'm okay.
Yeah,
Before though, I've been in sales 20 years, so I've had the top ramen months, and you're happy if you get top ramen some months.
totally.
And in those time frames, you're praying, you're grinding, you're doing everything you can do, and you sometimes have to just learn to trust the process, which is hard because
Right.
the process works. It just doesn't always work in the time frame you want it to work. Like the new rule I'm doing now, it's a 6 to 9 month build. Average cycle 6 to 9 months.
Mhm,
The role I was doing before that was 1 to 3.
mhm.
So it's one of those learning the cycles, learning where it's at, making sure that you have a budget in place, making sure you do everything you can, and then do the basics.
Yeah.
If you're not getting enough sales, are you actually prospecting? Are you actually reaching out? Are you doing the right content marketing? If we're listening to people that hate the word prospecting, content marketing is prospecting, guys, but we can give you a fancy word for it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's do you have enough people in your pipeline? If
Yeah.
that's the case, cool. Is your message clear and defined that they know who you are, who you help, and what you do? And then is it for them? And if it's not, refer them away. And guess what? You win because it will come back.
Yes.
That last one most people don't like, but I've gotten more deals from referring. Like, say I referred you to Richard, and then all of a sudden Richard knows 10 other people, and all of a sudden Richard sends me 10 because I gave him one, not because I was doing it to get, but because that law of if you sow, you reap comes back.
Yeah. 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 I think a lot of people in sales, at least in my experience, miss a really important key part, and that's the follow-up side of things, man.
Hmm.
And for you, as I was looking through your amazing new website, by the way, it's people need to check out your website. It's so good. But like you have this follow-up system that helps capture that 40 to 65% more income. And I know you coach about this, so you don't have to give it all away, but like what are folks not doing in the follow-up game?
They're not following up. Like they have no system at all. Like the
Mm,
average salesperson follows up once. A really good salesperson follows up 7 to 10 times, and on
yeah,
average, it's 12 to 28 touches to get a deal. So,
come on.
like with a follow up system, you have to have a first set in place, but you have to have intention behind it. If you can't just go, "Hey, Eric, did you get my quote? Do you have any questions?" That's not follow up. That's just bugging them. But if
Yeah,
you said, "Hey, Eric, I know you have these questions and set up. This is what I found out for you. Give them all the information. Do you have enough information to make a decision?" If they say no, cool. On Friday at 2 o'clock, I'm going to give you a call back. Does that work for you? And then when they agree to it, you call them back on Friday at 2. and you answer any other questions. And then if they don't give you a yes at that point, great. I'm going to reach out to you next week. Is it just time, whatever? And you have to dig in. It can't just be, do you have any questions? You have to start digging in. Okay, cool. You've been having me follow up with you. That's great. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. We're both in business. Is this something that you're just not comfortable with, the product, the service, or is it the price? Because the price is irrelevant. It's a made up number, because it really
Sure.
is. Sales is a made up number. But
Yeah.
the value I'm bringing you, does it justify you the price? And again, you put them back in that spot of making a decision. Because my
Yep.
good job is not to make the decision for them, it's to get them to make a decision. I take them down, I close all the doors of doubt. It comes down to cost versus value. Once you're there, it's just they're going to say yes or no. And I'm good
Yeah.
with the no. I'll tell them flat, I'm like, I am good with the no. I'd rather know that you don't want to do it so I don't waste your time, you don't waste mine. Or maybe is it a no now, or is it no, like you just don't have the money for it, or is it just not the right time? What is it? And normally, if you ask honest questions and you're genuine, people would do it, but it's uncomfortable to ask people. Is it you just don't have the money right now? That's an uncomfortable question.
Sure.
Is it you just don't have the time right now? That's an uncomfortable question. But if I'm going to work with you, if I'm going to help train you, I need to know you're 100% in. I need to know that you can pay for it, because I had to pay for my family too. And I need to know you're going to put your time and effort in. That's why I charge you, because I could do it for free. But most time, if you do something for free, people don't pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, huge, huge on that. And I've heard that for many years throughout the networking events that I've been to, right? Like if it's free, you're typically not going to pay that attention, right? And so, man, it's
I don't.
awesome. Right.
If
Yeah.
it's free, I don't. I'll half look at it. If I had to pay for, it, I'm like, I worked for that money. I'm going to at least get the information that I paid.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's hard money that I don't want to waste, man. So I'm definitely going to step into that and take a little bit more detailed notes, right? So good. What are you most excited about right now? Like, what's going up next for you, man?
Um, I'm getting into helping more set up business sales teams. So I joined
Okay.
a group. I think you know who Steve Sims is. So I
Yep.
joined his distillery, which is really cool group, different
Yeah.
level of entrepreneurs, different group. But I'm getting into setting up more teams instead of one-on-one coaching. So that's
Mhm.
fun for me, because I'm a teacher at heart in a lot of ways. So getting 20, 30 people in front of me and getting to talk to them, I dig that.
Yeah.
Even doing 1 to 2s in front of them and just helping people set up that team, because a lot of people have really good ideas. They just don't have a system or process in place to get repeatable income. Because if
Mhm.
you're an entrepreneur, you're not looking to have the best month ever and then go down like maybe some salespeople are. You want repeatable income that you can say, okay, cool, I'm going to make 10,000 a month for the next 12 months if I do this system, or I'm going to make 50,000, or I'm going to make 100,000, or I'm going to make 250,000, wherever you're at in your business. Because
Yeah.
that repeatable income means then you can scale, you can grow, because you know what's going on. And then I come and just train the team to get it set up so you actually have that. So that's kind of
Mhm.
the fun thing there. I've been doing a bunch of hiking because we moved out here to Arizona. So on a personal
Yeah.
note, we've been doing that. I did fall recently and bruised my bum. So
Oh
I
no.
hurt my pride there a little bit. But my son and I were doing a longer hike, and it was like, it's a moderate hike, which is fun. But
Yeah.
there's this one peak. He goes, let's just do this peak real quick. I'm like, okay, I guess it was a super hard peak. And I was in tennis shoes because we were just in moderate hike. Well, I'm
Sure.
coming down and I slip, and so I've been sore for about a week, but I'm going to get back up and go hiking hopefully again this weekend. But that's business. That's life. The road is rough. It trips, it turns. Sometimes you fall. I had to walk 2 more miles to get out. I couldn't
Yeah.
just quit, but a lot of people sit and quit with their business. They get there, they fall. They're sitting on top of the mountain. They're coming down. They sit there and then they just whine and don't move and don't take action. I could have
Mm.
done that,
Yeah.
or I could have walked out. And I walked out and I've been sore a little bit, but I'm just moving and doing the thing I need to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like those little parables sometimes. Like God will talk to me that way. Like, oh yeah, you're doing good. Boom. Oh, you fell here. What are you gonna do now? You gonna get up? You gonna
Right.
wipe the dirt off and move forward and keep doing what you said, or are you gonna be done? And
Yeah.
gotta move forward.
Love it, man. Love it, dude. Joe, you're an absolute world changer, man. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, man. I love what you got going on. I love your new website, man. People need to check it out. People need to check out your podcast. There's so many good guests that you bring on there, man. So thank you for your time, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Eric. I love you. And if you need anything from me, let me know.
Hey, if you've ever thought about starting a podcast but unsure where to go, you need to go check out erikallenmedia.com. Click on the resources tab there. I will walk you through how to start, launch, and run a podcast. I've recorded over 500 interviews since 2017, and I want to help you launch your podcast. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you catch every show when I drop them. Thanks again. Keep changing the world.